So for the second part, I'm going to introduce Dicom. Okay, so what is Dicom? This is a full name. The full name of the Dicom is Digital Imaging and Communication in Medicine. So you can see nowadays in clinical practice, in medical environment, we always use digital imaging. Just like we use the cell phone to take a photo, it always stored in a digital way, right? So nowadays, I think it's started from 1983, because the world is changing. Everything is changing to a digital format. So right there in this year, these two specific committee or association just create a new consensus or new format for medical imaging. It is so-called digital imaging and communication. What does communication mean? It means if we'd like to send a medical imaging from one machine to another one, for example, from the MRI or CT machine to the server, so I can let a doctor to check the imaging and give his comment on it. This kind of the transmission of the file is so-called communication. In order to let this medical file be identified or be recognized by several different machines, we need a common language. Just like English or Chinese, this is so-called common language. So in order to let different machines can understand this format, in 1983, these two organizations create a so-called Dicom format. Okay, so this is kind of the common language or protocol. So every machine, every manufacturers can create a similar format, okay? And this is very important to know that for a Dicom file, you need to keep in mind that for any medical image, not only image itself, there's one more thing is that important. That is the patient information. Because we mentioned before, I don't want my imaging generated by me, okay, but assigned to a wrong person. That is a big issue in medical practice, right? So Dicom format is very important. Every single Dicom file will include two parts. The very first part is so-called tag or header. It will include over 200 to maybe 300 in different slots of the patient information or even image information or even hospital information inside. This is so-called header, something before the imaging. And the second part would be the image itself. Okay, so this is the basis that when any single machine receive this imaging, it can actually immediately understand which this image belongs to. It maybe belongs to patient A, but not patient B, because I have the patient information within this file. So combine these two parts, information header and image matrix, we will get so-called Dicom format right here. Okay, so let me give you some example. What I can do right now is we can try to read a real Dicom file. Okay, actually I provided you two Dicom files within the folder. You may see this imaging 001, 00A1, but you can see the extension right here is DCM. DCM is another abbreviation of Dicom. I just omit the I and the O. So DCM is supposed to represent the Dicom anyway. Now we have two image file right here. And what we can do right now is we can use another function of the MATLAB. You can just try to read this function, Dicom, right? And this is information, but we only use info. So Dicom info is kind of the function that can help you to read metadata, or sometimes we say header from the Dicom. Okay, so how to use it? Please use a command, so-called help. Do it like this one, help, and with a space right here, please, with a space right here. Help, you can help Dicom info. That means I'm going to ask MATLAB to show some detailed information related to this function. Help Dicom, you will see a lot of the detailed description and information, even the usage, how to use this function. You can simply use Dicom info with a parenthesis and just give MATLAB the file name, and it will try to give you back the information or the header. Okay, so what I can do right here is, for example, I'm going to create a variable like info. I use a assign, okay, but I use the Dicom info. I only have one hand now, so I'm type very slowly. But anyway, so you can try to read one of the file right here. Do remember you should copy the extension. You should copy the extension. You cannot omit it, okay? Like this one. And press the button, what will happen? Just wait. You will see a lot of information from this Dicom file. Okay, so try to key this in on your own computer. But again, I'd like to emphasize you should make sure your current folder is within this directory so it can find this file, right? This is not L, this is I am, or simply just copy the file name from the current folder, okay? If you cannot type it right, you can simply copy the file name from the current folder, okay? Just pick one of the images. We have 2 Dicom images within the folder, okay? Some of you may see the error message on your own computer that you didn't have the image processing toolbox. That means you didn't install everything we need in the very beginning. So MATLAB will guide you to install it right now. But again, you may need a good connection to the internet, and you need keying the account and the password of the MathWorks so you can download it, okay? So let me make sure everyone can see the header information. Okay, for example, you can find out this info variable right here. If you did find this, just raise your hand so that I can check. Once you get this info variable, what you can do right now simply just look at it. What you can do is double click on it. Double click on it. You will see another window just pop up. It's a so-called variables viewer. Okay, so you have the editor right here, but now you have another one, variables right here, right? So you can take a look. It is some kind of the variable viewer, so you can go through all the information that you have right now. So for example, let us try to find something related to patient, okay? So maybe this one. You can see patient ID, patient age, and then patient name right here. But right here, you may think it's really weird because it's like a 0 age. But it's simply because we try to hide some private information. So we did rename it. So originally, of course, the patient should have some age like 84, 85, I don't know. But we try to protect the privacy of the patient. So we just rename it, rewrite it, okay? And you can see the patient ID. Of course, this is not a real patient ID. For every single hospital, it will have its own rule to name the patient ID. Or sometimes we say history ID, 病历码. But anyway, so you may find out any single Dicom file may have the private information of the patient. So do not think that it is just simply an image file. If you accidentally, leak or just let a part of the Dicom images just out of the hospital and send it to the wrong person, you may get caught. I have to mention this because it just violated some rule of the patient privacy protection, okay? So do remember this. So if you really want to know the details about the text or the header, there is a code book on the internet. You can simply search on it, Dicom header. You will find a detailed dictionary or a code book that will tell you in which location or which header you will find a specific information. For example, study day. In which specific date did the patient acquire or get the medical imaging, okay? And the patient's name, patient's ID, patient's age, gender, or something, okay? So there are so many different information. For example, the physician's name. Who is your doctor? Station name, in which station? you get this imaging. And some information may be related to the imaging itself. For example, imaging itself is also a matrix, like 500 by 500 matrix. So you will see the number of the row, the number of the column, and there are some specific imaging parameters used in clinical practice. I don't want to explain it right now, but I just want to show you that you can find out so many information related to this image. Okay. So now try to find a specific name, so-called slice location. So try to use the variable viewer, and please try to find out the value of the slice location. Go for the variable viewer, try to find out where is the slice location, right? This one, slice location. You don't really need to know the meaning of this variable, but just know this is one of the key information. So you maybe find out the value of the slice location is. Okay, so if you did find this slice location, please raise your hand. Let me know. Okay. Now I see many hands. Good. But you may find out that using this way, go through all the items within the variable viewer, sometimes is pretty stupid, right? If I have over 1,000 items, that means I need to scroll over all the items. It's very time consuming. It wastes a lot of time, right? Do we have more elegant way to do so? So again, I'm going to take your screen. Instead of doing these kind of things, scroll over all the items and find out this slice location, can I do another way? Yes, of course you can. Once you have this info variable on hand, what you can do right now, take a look, simply key in info in a command window. And one more thing, give it a period right here, okay? And then press the tab button. On your keyboard, there is a tab button, T-A-B, tab button, okay? Press it. Then you will see there are many different information listed right here, right? It's more like the, again, the list. You can just switch or scroll over. But again, this is very time consuming if I want to find out what I want. What you can do, you can just keep typing. Like this one, you put one more S. Again, you can press tab. Then now it's narrowed down to the item start with uppercase S. Maybe more, slice, right? So now you can see only this one, again, I want to do it again. Only these two match the criteria, right? Start with slice. Now you can easily to switch to slice location and then press enter. Now you can see the answer. Okay, so try it. You can just do it in the command window. If you have the info variable on hand, you can simply key in info with a period and then key in some hint like the slice and then press the tab button on the keyboard. Okay, it will help you to search through the items, okay? So based on this kind of the header, you may find out this one on the left-hand side right here. This is kind of the interface that are commonly used in hospital. This is so-called PACS system. PACS system is kind of the server system that can, save or store all the medical images generated within a hospital. But most importantly, this kind of the PACS server can help you to identify or search for a specific patient's imaging. For example, if you are a doctor, and if you really want to search for a specific patient, you may have the history number, patient ID, or the patient name. You can simply key in right here. And this interface will go through all the files because you have the header for each file, right? It will go for all the files and identify the files that actually belongs to the specified patient. Okay, so this is a way. So for example, if you only key in the date, I just want to know who did the MRI or CT on this specific day, then you will find out there are so many items right here. But I just try to block it because there are so many patients' information right here. But this is the reason that why we can search for so many data, because we have the header, we have the Dicom format. This is very important, okay? So data query, that means you can search anything you want through the system. You can get the image information. For example, the image resolution, image contrast, or something else. And also we can do the communication. We can pass through these medical images data between different machines, even like the printer, like the report system, or even like the archive system, simply like the PACS system, okay? So Dicom is that important, okay? But right now, we only get the header. We didn't see image, right? We didn't see imaging. So right now, again, you can help another function. It's pretty similar to Dicom info, but you can see the name right here is Dicom read. So right now, read means I'm going to read the second part of the Dicom, the image matrix. Okay, so again, you can use pretty similar format right here. Just give the file name, but right now, please replace the Dicom info by Dicom read. Now you will get a matrix, and you are going to tell me what is the size of this matrix. Okay, so do it right now. Replace the Dicom info by the Dicom read, and let me know what is the size of this X image matrix, okay? Again, I'd like to emphasize you don't need to key in everything again. What you should do is use the command history, right? Just use the command history and then rewrite it as the Dicom read. Dicom read. And again, if you want to set another variable name like the uppercase X, then it should be look like this one, right? So again, borrow me your screen. You can see right here. So now I get this one, right? So press enter. You will see it is an image matrix with a size of 512 by 512. Okay? So you may want to know this is the matrix, but what does it look like? Of course, you can double click on it, but they are all numbers, right? Numbers are the matrix. Matrix are the image. Yeah, it's very weird, right? But every single number right here may represent a certain level of the image brightness. So you can take a look right here. You can simply use this function, but you will learn it later, not today, but you can learn it later. You can take a look. I can do so-called image show. I'm going to show this image matrix using this function. What will happen? You will immediately see, okay, right here. You can immediately see something like this one. So this is so-called 512 by 512 matrix. But if I try to represent it as an image, it will look like this one. Okay. But no worry about this. You will learn this function later on, so no worry. So I think that should be all for today. There is something I may introduce later, but I want to jump to our homework, our assignment today. Okay, so today's assignment is pretty simple. I want all of you to follow what you are looking at right now. I want you to create an M file, of course, named by your student ID, student number, and it should contain all of these things. So there are some command lines that we used before, right? And you can see this is the image show. I just want all of you to follow this. Just try to type in and save it in an M file and upload it to E3 system. Very easy. You don't need to think. Just repeat, just follow it, just copy it. And you may see some right here, this mark, this is the percentage. Percentage within the MATLAB represent the non-executable text. That means MATLAB will ignore it. MATLAB will ignore it. Then why we need to use the percentage? Because sometimes we want to add some comment or some note to explain what is the things that I'm going to do right here, or what is the meaning, or what is the goal for these codes. So we can use this percentage. Everything behind the percentage will be ignored by MATLAB. Remember this. So they are not the real code. They are just something like the common. Okay, so today's assignment is pretty easy. Just follow this page, key in everything, every single word. Just key it in, create your own M file, and upload it to the new to the E3 system. Okay. So that should be all for today.